So, hey, hi. Anyway, hi guys, welcome to our very first installment of Black History 360 motherfucking 5 bitches. So, again, this is going to be basically a series where I share just random black facts with y'all and just random black history things that I have learned about, that I'm researching, that I'm reading about, whatever. I'm just going to share with y'all because we always just got to stay educated. So I figured what better way to kick this off than starting with the history of Black History Month, because for some reason, nobody fucking knows the history of Black History Month, and everybody thinks it's just some fucking pity holiday that people gave to us, when in fact, nigga, we worked our fucking asses off for this bullshit. You should pretty much know by now that anything that has to do with black people that's recognized is something that we work for. Nobody fucking gave us that bullshit, okay? So so get your iPads, your pens, your papers out and everything, because I'm about to take y'all to fucking school, okay? So to start this off, we have to go all the way back to 1950. It began with somebody called Carter G. Woodson, who I'll probably do a video on because this nigga is lit, okay? So Carter G went to the University of Chicago in Illinois to participate in this exhibit that was supposed to be the 50th anniversary of the Emancipation. So it was this huge exhibit that highlighted and talked about the progress of the African American people. It ended up being so big that people literally had to wait outside in buildings and lines to get into this thing. So Carter G, my nigga, was awarded a doctorate from Harvard. This nigga is okay. So anyway, he goes to this thing, he checks out the exhibit, and he gets inspired to create something similar, but that promoted the scientific life of black life and black history specifically. So before he left, he met with 4 other black scholars, and they created this organization called the Association of the Study of Negro Life and History. And basically the goal of this organization was to basically publicize and popularize the scientific studies and history that black historians have been collecting since then, because really before this, people haven't really been writing down black history. It was orally passed down through families and stuff like that. So we really, at this point, we really didn't have a written accounts of black history. So this is when people actually started to write it down. And one of the things that Carter G was really big on was that the history is told by the people and for the people. He wasn't really into idolizing one person as the successor of history, because those people wouldn't even be shit if it wasn't for the communities that backed them up. In 1916, he started putting out the Journal of Negro History, which is where he started publishing all these things and where he started collecting all these writings from other families and other historians, and that's where they started publishing all this black history shit. So he started reaching out to civic organizations to basically try and push and promote black history. It kind of took off really slow. It was doing a little bit within little communities and just their little segregated areas, but it wasn't having as big of an impact as he wanted. So in 1925, he decided that association that he formed with those other people, with the other historians, had a responsibility to educate our people on black history. So he announced in February in 1926 that he was going to start Negro History Week. So, why did he choose February? And this is where all you guys go, why did we get the shortest month of the year? Has nothing to fucking do with the days in the fucking year, bitch. Has to do with the fact that black celebrations were already taking place in February. He chose February because he knew it would be easier to slide Black History Week or Negro History Week at this point into something that already existed in black celebrations than to try to create this whole new fucking thing and try to get everybody to sign on to it and everything else. Just fucking slide it into something already fucking exists. So he chose this because one of the 2 biggest black celebrations that was going on right now was the birthday of Frederick Douglass, who was basically our fucking messiah. And it was the anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's assassination, which niggas was turning up to, okay? So he built Black History, or at this point, Negro History Week, around these existing black celebrations. He didn't want to create something new. He wanted to incorporate something else into black celebrations that were already taking place. And he did this because he was fucking smart, and he knew there was a bigger chance that it would be successful than trying to create this whole new fucking thing on a random month that don't make no fucking sense. So when he started doing this, it put out basically a call to the black public and just yo, niggas, send me your knowledge so we can get this shit popping, okay? So Negro History Week was something that was really started for us. Like, Black History Month and Negro History Week was not something that was created to educate white people and everybody else like it's become in the present. It was started to educate ourselves because we didn't, at this point, people weren't aware of our own history. There are a lot of people who really didn't understand the progress that we have made and the history that we come from. Because at this point, nothing was being written down and people were just passing it down orally if they fucking could. So I really just want to read the quote that Carter G. Woodson put out in one of his journals about Negro History Week and why he started it. So he says, "If you can control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his action. When you determine what a man shall think, you do not have to concern yourself about what he will do. If you make a man feel that he is inferior, you do not have to compel him to accept an inferior status, for he will seek it for himself." Yes. If you make a man think that he is justly an outcast, you do not have to order him to go back to the door. He will go without being told. And if there is no back door, the very nature of him will demand one. Nigga, yes. Like, he literally was the person who created this concept of being woke. Like, everything that we fucking talk about today about being woke and knowing the fuck where you come from and everything and that, like, he created that shit. People weren't woke before this. People didn't know this fucking shit. Like, Carter G. Woodson with Negro History Week and Black History Month literally created the concept of being woke. Everything that we talk about today about being woke and doing all this and doing all fucking that and staying educated and stuff, he created that fucking concept, my nigga. Like, people weren't educating themselves. They didn't know how to educate themselves. We didn't have Black power groups. We didn't have Black student unions and shit before this thing. But I'm going to get into that. Before this Negro History Week, we didn't have all that shit before this Negro History Week because we didn't even fucking know that we had something to be empowered for. So they finally launched this Negro History Week, right? And it's kind of the same thing as this exhibit at the emancipation thing. So they basically set up like a bunch of exhibits and they had like workshops and teachers and people from around the country came together to put this thing together. And the response from the Black people was absolutely fucking insane. Like, there were so many people and there was so much demand that they ended up having to expand it into 3 weeks. White people were looking at us kind of like, what are you niggers doing? We don't like this educational things that are going on around here, you know, what are you doing? So, like, Black people from across the fucking country came to this Negro History Week that really turned into, like, Negro History several weeks, and they got empowered, and they learned about the history, and then they went back to the communities, and they went back to fuck shit up. This is when people started demanding that Black history be get taught in schools. This is when Black student unions started forming in schools. This is when Black power movements started to pop up all over the fucking country, and niggas was like, yo, we got shit to fight for. Like, what? Bitch, hello, I'm Black, okay? We better get some Black shit in here. The 1920s are known as literally marked in history as the decade of the New Negro, which I kind of find ironic, being as we call people the New Black. Being as we call people New Black is the complete opposite thing of what it means at this time. But the decade of the New Negro was literally because Black people were like, they woke up. They got educated, they got empowered, and they went back and they started demanding that, like, Black people be treated with respect and that we get our history taught in schools and that, you know, equality, really. We started demanding equality. Some of the things that they talk about as that happened in this decade of the New Negro is raising the expansion of racial pride and consciousness. The Black middle class actually started becoming like key players in in the consumer economy. Black literature and Black culture started to rise. Black history clubs started to rise up. Teachers started demanding that we incorporate Black history into curriculums. And then progressive / woke white people started to step in and also be allies and demand that we start teaching stuff in schools as well. So it wasn't until the 1940s that, like, Black history actually started to take off being taught in school. And that's because these Black student unions and all these Black power groups that started popping up really started demanding it in their communities. And then obviously the Civil Rights Movement started to pop in, and then it was really just a ripple effect from there. You know, Negro History Week woke everybody up and got their consciousness and racial pride going, and then it just kept rolling from there. And niggas started demanding that we get some nigger respect, okay? And niggas just started demanding that we get some fucking respect up in this bitch. So the actual expansion of Negro History Week into Black History Month as a full month was first proposed by Kent State University, their Black Student Union group that formed from Negro fucking History Week. That happened in 1969. They were the first. They were the first place to actually expand it into a month, and then people just kind of followed from there, and then it, niggas fought, and all this. And then in 1976, as part of the United States bicentennial, it was finally recognized as fully expansion into a Black History Month by the U.S. government. So it literally took, 40 fucking years for it to go from Negro History to Black History Month. And then in 1987, the United Kingdom started to recognize Black History Month. In 1995, Canada started to recognize Black History Month. And yeah, and it just kind of moves on from there. And we stay pissing white people off and saying woke. So that is a very short history of Black History Month. I really want you guys to go look and do some more information on this. I'll put a few links in the description box of stuff you can kind of start with, and I just really hope that you guys kind of expand your knowledge from there. I think it's just really important to know the history behind these things. I personally, it really pisses me off when people sit here and criticize Black History Month when you don't know anything about Black History Month. I don't understand how y'all can sit up here and talk shit about something that you don't even fucking know, and something that y'all don't even fucking celebrate in the first place. So again, know your history. That's why I'm doing these Black History 365 things, because it's important to understand, and we would not fucking exist. I wouldn't be here doing this video. Y'all wouldn't be up here on fucking Tumblr talking about stay woke and all this bullshit if we hadn't started Black History Month and Negro History Week back in 1926. So yeah, stay woke, stay educated, y'all. Don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, share this video with all your friends, and I will see you guys next time with the next installment of Black History 365. All right, bye. Mwah.